Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. So, Chai with my Bhai is back, and Alhamdulillah, this time season 3 is going to be available on the podcast app, both on Android and Apple devices. So, if you're on either of those, then click the link below, inshallah. Subscribe to the podcast. I promise you're not going to want to miss it. And now it's accessible for you wherever you are. If you're on the train, you can listen to it with your headphones in, or you've got AirPods, Beats, whatever headphones you have, inshallah. You can listen to it wherever you are, whenever you want, inshallah. And if you're watching on YouTube, as always, just remember you can watch the video. And all the previous episodes from the last 2 seasons are available on YouTube. If you go to the playlist on Nasiha Session, the YouTube channel, if you go to the playlist, it's called Chai with my Bhai. You can find all the previous episodes there. And inshallah, from now on, all the future episodes on the podcast app. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode of Chai with my Bhai. Today, once again, it's myself and Imran. Imran, give salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
So, on today's episode, inshallah, we thought it would be best to discuss the issue of death. Reason being, as I'm sure many of you can guess, obviously death rates around the world have been increasing substantially since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. SubhanAllah, even in the UK, we've had a lot of people who have died, a lot of Muslims who have died, a lot of people that we actually know have passed away. So we thought it's only right to, have a look at death itself and some benefits that can be taken from death. First thing, so just have a little introduction to the topic. Why is death something, Imran, that people tend to be so neglectful of until it's something that comes to their doorstep, as it's someone right next to you in your family dies? But other than that, when we're not in this pandemic, generally speaking, most people don't really think of death on a day-to-day basis. So why is that people become neglectful of death?
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah ma ba'd. Akhi, one reason that immediately comes to mind is there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, consistently think, or rather increase in the remembrance of death. Why? Because it is the thing that destroys pleasures. People don't like to, have their pleasure removed and destroyed. I mean, when you're having a good time, having fun, chilling, and someone brings up death, it's like, bro, you just kind of made the whole mood like kind of sour. Even some people I was trying to advise with the whole Covid-19 thing, some people, my extended family, whatever have you, I was trying to tell them, this is serious, man, that people are dying right now, you know what I'm saying? Everyone was just looking at the fun side of it, as in everyone's been, told, go home, you don't have to work, and you're still going to get paid. Some of them are still going to get paid. Everyone's chilling, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is not a chilling kind of situation that you look a bit too happy, and then it's like, what? You've just depressed me now. Do you get me? So that's one thing. The second thing is that the dunya deceives us. We as human beings, we want immortality. Does that make sense? That's why Shaitan, when he came to Adam alayhi salam and he tempted him to eat from the tree, and his wife, he said to them, this is Shajaratul Khuld. It's the tree of eternity. You eat from here and you're going to be immortal. You're going to live forever. Does that make sense? So humans want to live forever. We become deceived by the dunya, and we think that we're always going to be living forever. Like, we don't hear about death a lot. Does that make sense? Like living in this country, in this place, you don't hear about death a lot. You just don't hear about it a lot, man. Does that make sense? Like, when we're in Mecca, Medina, death is a reminder between each salah, because each salah there's a funeral prayer. Does that make sense? Like
for multiple people.
Multiple people, yeah. Like you on any given day, you'll see 5-6 bodies being carried to the front of the masjid and into the graveyard. So, but I'm saying here, people don't go to the masjid. I'm talking about on a day-to-day. People don't go to the masjid. So when there is a janazah at the masjid, you won't see it, you won't hear about it. People don't go visit the sick. It's just we're all very confined in our small little circles. Does that make sense? And so you don't hear about death much. When you hear about it, it depresses you. You should prefer to not talk about it. You think you're going to live forever. You know what I'm saying? Because the worldly life deceives you. So these are some reasons why I think people maybe they don't take it deep until it actually hits them. Does that make sense?
Yes. But so on the flip side of that, why is it important to keep death on your mind? Why is it important to be thinking of death and to remember death in your day-to-day life?
The reason why it's important, bro, is because you see, death is the beginning. Death is the beginning. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned من مات قد قامت الساعة, or كما قال, whoever died, his day of judgment has started. Does that make sense? So the next life is the beginning. Allah says in Surah Al-Fajr, what will the person say when the hellfire is placed in front of him? يقول يا ليتني قد قدمت لحياتي. He will say, woe to me, I wish I sent something forward for my life. I wish I invested something for my life. So on the day of judgment, he realizes, this is the life I wish I invested in. This is the life I wish I sent something forward in. Does that make sense? So this life right here to the next life is the way life inside your mother's womb was to this life. Does that make sense? It's just a transition from one stage to another. Like life in your mum's womb, though, it weren't really. It's not really this life. Does that make sense? But how you are inside your mother's womb will have implications in terms of like health and whatever have you. How you're going to be in this life. Does that make sense? So I'm saying how you are in this life is going to have implications how you are in the next life. And that life, akhi, is an eternity. Eternity is a long time, you know. I remember one brother, he tried to break it down. He said, let me try to give you a glimpse of what eternity is like. He said, imagine that you're on an island, yeah? You're on an island, a small island, and there's just an ocean all around you. Just an ocean all around you. And I give you a bucket, yeah? And I tell you, fill up this bucket with the water from this island, yeah?
In the ocean.
In the ocean, using a teaspoon. Yeah? So he was like, every time you fill it in, by the next day the water's evaporated. And you can only do 1 teaspoon a day.
One teaspoon a day?
1 teaspoon a day. You put it into the bucket. And by the next day the water's evaporated. That's eternity. Like it will never end. Do you understand? He said that's eternity.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
SubhanAllah.
Yes. So I'm saying it's important to keep that in mind, because all this that we're chasing after, all that we want, like, wallahi, it's the end that counts. Does that make sense? It's the end that counts.
It's mad because, you know, right at the beginning of the statement that you said, which is definitely just the beginning.
Yeah.
But the way we're programmed from a very young age is that death is the end. You know, YOLO, you only live once. You know, everything you do in life, you're doing it because once you die, you need to have things in place for your children. You need to have wealth for your children. You need to have a house for your children. You need to, you know, like death is seen as the end after that. But what we don't realize is, as you said so correctly, but so it's one of those things. You don't really deep it and it doesn't really hit you unless you actively sit down and try and deep it. But death is really and truly only the beginning. For a believer, obviously.
You know,
for a non-believer who doesn't believe.
You know what it is? It's not just that it's the beginning and we don't think about it. It's that another thing that we don't think about is death can come at any time. And I feel like it's just starting to hit people now. It's just now starting to hit people. That death can come at any time. Like people don't like to imagine that idea of we can die, like we might die. Like, I remember I was talking to Mr. Wavy. Yeah, this is when the coronavirus thing was early. It was when it was early. I'm talking February times. I think this is before we went to Umrah. I'm pretty sure it's before we went to Umrah. So I'm telling him, bro, this is serious. Like, it looks like it's gonna get sticky. People saying it's gonna spread around the world. 8% of the world they're saying might get it or whatever have you. Kalam. Does that make sense? I don't know how accurate the statistics are, but that's what I was hearing. So he looked at me with like a smile on his face. Not to put him down or anything, but it was just to show you how we as human beings are. He looked at me and he was like, bro, do you know the youngest guy who died from coronavirus in the whole world? I was like, who? He's like, he was a 54-year-old man. So he's not young, is he? And he's like, not just that, by the way, he had AIDS. So he had an underlying health issue that compromises his immune system. So, and it's kind of like, we don't need to be that concerned. We don't need to be that concerned. It's only going to be the adults. And even then, it's the adults who got compromised immune systems. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And even that in itself is bad. Because I remember I was chatting to one brother, and he kind of like, I was trying to tell him about it, and he was like, bro, it's just adults who are at risk. You know what I'm saying? So I remember I looked at him, and I was like, bro, for your mum and dad to die, and your auntie and uncle and grandma to die, you're telling me that's a good life? Is that something that makes you feel content and happy? That, may Allah protect our parents and our family members. But for the elders in our family to drop dead, like, does that give you solace in that it's not a big deal? Does that make sense? But anyway, the point is that even then,
Since then, kids have been dying.
Kids have been
Kids
dying,
with no underlying health conditions whatsoever.
Bro, one 5-year-old kid died. The brother Ismail, may Allah have mercy, an 11-year-old died. That girl Katie, I think her name was Katie Middleton from High Wycombe, she died. Allah knows how many more have died. And they didn't have, like this girl Katie Middleton never had underlying health conditions. Does that make sense? And not just that, bro. Like, you know, it's like we forget that the same Allah who's brought the whole world to a standstill through a creation of His, which is weaker than a human being. Yeah, like a person would never think that that creation could bring the whole world to its knees. Does that make sense? But Allah's brought His whole world to its knees through a creation that is weaker than the human, independently. Does that make sense? Can that same Allah not cause people with strong immune systems to be affected? Like, it's like, are we not like, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِ? We did not give Allah His due right, man. And it's like these things have to happen for us to be educated and learn. But now it's got to a point, bro, where wallahi, every day, man, I'm hearing someone close to us has either got it or someone just died who's close to someone that we're close to. Like, for example, we have a brother who we're very close to. His grandmother just passed away, may Allah have mercy. The next day, one brother who came to Umrah with us, his auntie passed away. That same day, one of the brothers on our team, one of his family members passed away. This is just yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Day before yesterday, sorry. Yeah. So, and we're recording this on a Friday, by the way, right? So Allah knows what the death toll is going to be like a few days from now. I remember I kept saying to people, like, because people, you know what it is? People don't understand exponential growth, innit? Exponential growth, yeah. So people keep looking at statistics. 10 people died, 10 people died. It went up to 50. It's not too much, 100. The day when I know it shocked everyone was when it went from 400 and it went to 900. And I was like, whoa. And it stayed there. 900, then it went down to 600, 700, 800, 900. And then suddenly what's going to happen is the next number you're going to see is 1500, something like that. Does that make sense? And it's like, that's a day. That's a day. 1500 people a day are dying. Bro, that's mad. Just from this. Not even taking into account other diseases. Does that make sense? So it's getting real, man. And then this reminds me of a story that Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali rahimahullah ta'ala mentioned. You know, the fact that, because I think everyone now knows someone who's got COVID-19. I got a family member, extended family member who's in intensive care right now. Do you understand? So, like I'm saying, it's now everyone, I think everyone has heard of someone, maybe they're not very, very close to them, but everyone knows someone who they've got some kind of proximity to, who's either been in intensive care or died. I think most people will be able to resonate with that.
I mean, everyone knows BJ, innit? Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson, yeah. No, but I'm talking about friend or family. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, alhamdulillah, even in my personal, you know, Allah barik lana, Allah protect my family. But even in my personal family, I don't know anyone in my personal, like, as in my immediate family, sorry, who's had it, because alhamdulillah we're all quarantine, isolation, doing our dhikr, and only Allah ultimately is the one who we turn to for affairs, and anything can happen. But we haven't seen it yet. But we've seen it in family. We've seen it in friends. We've had a few brothers who've been on our Umrah trips who've had it. Does that make sense? I did I tell you about the other brother whose mum, man, she's quite sick. Even she got it, man. She came on Umrah trip last. I don't want to mention it. Even his mum got it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying we're hearing enough people who have it. Not just that, we're hearing people who have been in intensive care such that they died. And I think most people, we might know more because we know more people, but I think most people will be able to resonate. So I want to mention a story. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned a story. He said there was a man, the angel of death came to him, and he said to him that, it's your time to die. And the man said, what do you mean it's my time to die? You didn't give me a warning. So the angel of death said to him, no problem. He said, I will now give you due warning before I come. I will give you a warning. Does that make sense? So a year went by, that guy, one of his family members died. A year went by, another person close to him died, friend or neighbor or something. Next year went by, someone else died, so closer to him. So then the angel of death comes back. He goes, it's your time. The man says, hey, I thought you were going to give me a warning. You told me I was going to get a warning before. Does that make sense? He said, I did. All those people around you that were dying, that was your warning. That was your sign. You had people close to you that were leaving this world. And that was your reminder that you're going to be gone soon. Like, when you see humans dropping, know that you also are a human and your time to drop is coming. Does that make sense? Whether it's a year from now, whether it's 10 years from now, you're going to be dead soon. Does that make sense? So these are signs. Does that make sense? Now, the point of the story here is the moral in it. Does that make sense? And I only mention it because Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali rahmahullah ta'ala mentioned it. I don't know if it's authenticity or this, that, and the other. But that's not the point. It's narrated for the lesson in there. Kind of like how, they tell fables. Does that make sense? Where in that, the angel of death's not going to knock up and give you, going to tell you, hey, you're going to be dead in like a week, just letting you know. No, it's just going to creep up on you. But what's your sign is when you see people dying around you. Does that make sense? When you see people close to you, especially dying, you hear about death. That's why Imam Hassan al-Basri, when he used to hear someone died, he would say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah we belong and to Allah we return. And then he would become better. He would make himself better than he was before. As in, it's me next. But the angel of death is going to touch every single person on planet Earth. Angel of death is going to touch him. He's going to come to him. Every single person on planet Earth. Does that make sense? Yeah. Everyone's going to die. Death's going to come. Death's going to touch every single person. So, it's just a matter of time. And it's a reminder. Does that make sense?
And okay, so I've got a question for you, right? So,
yeah,
as a Muslim, should we be? Because obviously, a person who's lived a righteous life shouldn't really fear death because they will be happy to die because they want to meet their Lord. So, is that like a correct notion that as a righteous Muslim you shouldn't fear death, or is it that everyone should fear death regardless of how you believe you live your life? If that makes sense.
Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala, he gave a nice answer to this. Anyone who hates death is a person who didn't prepare for it. He knows I didn't build anything for my life, my afterlife. Does that make sense? Like in a person who prepared for his afterlife, he can't wait. Even then, the concept of death is not something that everyone likes. That Aisha radiallahu anha, she asked Prophet, she said, also like, how can we, to love to meet Allah requires death, and who from us likes death? Because death has pains, death has difficulties. Like even the Prophet felt pain during death. So the concept of death people don't like. Does that make sense? So it's not referring to that. It's referring to the concept of like, you don't have to like death, but you want to move on. Like you want to be with Allah. You want to be in Jannah. You want to leave the stresses of this world. Does that make sense? But there's some people that don't even have that desire because they wouldn't feel very confident about where they might be in the next life based on them not having prepared anything in this life for that life. Does that make sense? Like you don't want to leave a place where I'm saying we built houses here. We built a house in Jannah, praying Sunnah al-Rawatib. The Sunnah prayers that you pray, 2 before Fajr, 4 before Dhuhr, 2 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib, 2 after Isha. Those 12 rakat. The Prophet said Sunnah al-Rawatib, that builds you a house in Jannah. Imagine a person who decorated a house and built a beautiful house. They don't want to leave because they don't have a house in Jannah. They didn't pray. I'm not saying they don't have a house, but they didn't pray Sunnah al-Rawatib. So they haven't done the action to build that house. Does that make sense? Like a guy who's been doing that his whole life, he can't wait. You know what I'm saying? Like these people here, they just a person who just got followers and fans, and he just reaching out to fans on social media and all these different things. Like he knows he's misguided people. She's misguided people. Does that make sense? So they don't have nothing to look forward to. Like in a person who is educating, teaching, guiding people to Islam. He knows. خير لك من حمر النعم. It's better for me than red camels. A person who spends the whole time building a beautiful garden, planting trees, women like to build nice gardens and all these kind of things. Like they didn't do the adhkar that will cause trees to be planted for you in paradise. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's one reason we don't like to die, because we haven't done enough. Does that make sense?
So if someone's watching this right now thinking, you know what, subhanAllah, you're right, I haven't prepared, I haven't done enough, and I'm not ready to die, but I do want to do, what would you say are the top things that someone should do, like starting from now, in order to start preparing for death?
Wallahi, akhi, you have to learn. You have to learn. The only reason you know this life and not the afterlife is because of the knowledge you have of this life and the lack of knowledge you have of the afterlife. And the only reason you know this world has any value in your sight is because, like I said, you have knowledge of it. You know, you know how it works in terms of the science. You know its history. You know its mechanics, the psychology, the sociology. You can navigate in this world. That's why it has value. But you don't know the next life. You know, you don't know the master of the next life. Does that make sense? So you have to learn. And the first thing that I will tell you to learn is the key to the gates of paradise. Because when you die, because when you die, it's not about the next life. The next life is one of two. It's either paradise or hell. Does that make sense? Without a third option. There's no purgatory or purgatory. You know how the Christians believe that. You just stay in purgatory. Sorry, the Catholics, that you stay in like a, like how the Khawarij say, al-manzilatu bayn al-manzilatayn, the station between the two stations. There's no purgatory, man. It's either paradise or hell. So the first thing a smart person will learn is the key to paradise. The key to paradise. And the key to paradise, the Prophet ﷺ said, is the miftah al-jannah. The key to paradise is la ilaha illallah. To study it, to learn it, to internalize it, to actualize it, to really live by it, to make it a part of you, to make it a piece of you. Does that make sense?
So it's not enough to just say it. A lot of people, just say la ilaha illallah. Of course not. Don't pray. Don't do anything else.
No.
A Muslim.
A man came to Muhammad ibn Wasi' and he said to him, a person says la ilaha illallah, will he enter Jannah? He said, it was either Muhammad ibn Wasi' or it was Hassan al-Basri, one of the two. He said, the person said la ilaha illallah, will he enter Jannah? He said, it is the key of Jannah, like in the key has teeth. Does that make sense? The key has teeth. Like for example, you can't just say, oh, what, do I need a key to open this door? And just put any key in there. No, you gotta have the right key. The key that's cut with, you know the teeth. Is that what it's called, teeth? Because in Arabic they call it teeth.
I believe it is, teeth.
Yeah, in Arabic they call it the asnan of the miftah, the teeth of the key. So he said, walahu al-asnan. So but the key has specific teeth. The key has specific teeth. So you got to put the right key with the right teeth in there. Does that make sense? So you can't come with the wrong key. So man adda haqqaha, whoever gives it its right. Whoever gives la ilaha illallah its right, he comes with what it necessitates and whatever have you. He said he is the one who came with the key. Does that make sense? He was the one who came with la ilaha illallah. So it has conditions. La ilaha illallah has conditions. That reminds me, where's the lecture on the 7 conditions that I've done? Is it with you or is it with Sa'ad? Because we could have given that to them to watch the benefit.
Who done?
Remember I done the lecture, remember the man in part 4? 7 conditions. Is that with you or is that with Aman or is it with Sa'ad? Who's got it?
I think Aman's got it.
Okay.
I think all 3 of us have a copy.
Okay, it would be nice if we can get that out. But inshallah, just to give the people something practical right now, there's 2 things that we can give them right now, inshallah ta'ala, to kind of start studying. One is a series that I have on my YouTube channel. It's called the Shahada series. It's in the playlist section. It's about 9 episodes. I would advise everyone to go for it. It's just literally a study of La ilaha illallah. 9 episodes, 9 hours. Also, they can go into Knowledge College where they can study La ilaha illallah, which is Tawheed, in a lot more detail. They can study books, Usul al-Thalatha, Al-Qawaid al-Arba'a, Nawaqid al-Islam, Kitab al-Tawheed, and much more. And right now we have an offer. It's 99p for the first month, right?
Yeah.
99p. So if they go to the link below and they use the code, what's the code?
No, it's automatic. So as soon as they click on
the link,
it's automatically.
It will say 99p.
Yeah.
So click on the link, inshallah ta'ala, 99p, and you get access to hundreds of videos of Islamic courses. You learn how to pray there, salat, tahara, zakat. There's a lot. Does that make sense? And we also do private classes with the students that are on there as well. So I think that's the first stage I would say to them, is to start seeking knowledge. Does that make sense? The second thing I would say to them is to implement that knowledge, right? That's what a person should do immediately. When you learn something, don't learn it for the sake of it, implement it. And then the third thing I would tell them is then to share that knowledge, okay, with their family and friends. When you learn something that you realize is the key to Jannah, you want to give that key to everyone else. You want to make sure you don't want to be the only lonely guy in Jannah, right? You want to take people with you. And then the fourth thing is that you remain patient on that process. So you remain patient, as in you go back, you learn more, you implement it, you share it again. Then you learn more, you implement it, you share again. Learn more, implement, share again. Those three stages, you remain patient on them because it's hard to have a life dedicated to knowledge, implementing Allah, that knowledge in worship to Allah Azza wa Jal, because that worship sometimes requires, it requires sacrifice from you. Does that make sense? Like, you have to sacrifice sleep to be able to pray Fajr on time, to pray Isha on time, in the summer especially, to pray the night prayer. You have to sacrifice food and drink, to fast. You have to sacrifice money when you give zakat, and then when you want to give more, for example, you want to give sadaqah on top of zakat, more charity, you've got to sacrifice more wealth. You want to fast above and beyond that, you've got to sacrifice more food, desires, and drink. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the deen is about sacrifice, and that requires patience. Does that make sense? And then in sharing that knowledge with others, it's patience as well, because sometimes people are going to throw it in your face. They're going to say, who the hell are you? Who are you talking to? You're not my mum, you're not my dad. Mind your own business, worry about yourself. They're going to spit on you, they're going to mock you, but you have to remain patient. And that's the 4-step process. And by the way, this is discussed in more detail on the Knowledge College. There's a book called Usul al-Thalatha where these 4 stages are taken from, which is what? Knowledge, implementing it, sharing that knowledge, and then being patient upon that. So I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. Going back to the issue of of death, and how people don't really actually deep it. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I remember I was listening. Where was it? It wasn't too long ago as well. I was listening to it while I was at work, and it was basically about death and how, like, when you die, like, imagine you were to die right now. What's your family gonna do? Like, have you left behind instructions? Have you given them instructions? Okay, cool. When I die, do this. Or cool, like this is my account. I've got this much money here. Use this for the funeral. This is like, have you actually prepared? Because like we said, death could come at any time. So if you listening to this, or even you, Imran, if you were to die right now, and even myself, if I was to die right now, like, what would happen in the immediate aftermath of my death? Obviously, family's going to be, upset and this, that, but what have you put in place as a procedure or as a step or as guidelines so your family can know what to do? So, like your wife, your parents, your siblings, your work colleagues, some people are self-employed, some people run their own business. Like, what have you put in place? Have you got arrangements? Have you got plans? Have you got any debts? Does anyone else know about the debts that you have? Because imagine you die and no one else knows that you've got a debt. And that person has no way to contact your family or whatever, and you wake up on the day of judgment and you got a fat debt to pay. Like, what have you really done? Like, that's just when I heard that, for me it was just like, whoa.
Wallahi, that is insane, man.
Like, for me, that was just like, whoa. Like, that's
not just that. Like, even for example, yeah, like things like funeral instructions, like.
Yeah.
With this whole situation, yeah, they are Allah musta'an ala ma tasifun. They are doing tayammum on bodies, right? And
I'm not sure. I haven't heard.
Basically, what they're doing is they are not doing the ghusl on the bodies, and the reason why they're not doing the ghusl on the bodies is because they're saying that the person died as a shaheed. Right? Because someone who dies from a plague is a shaheed, inshallah. So first things first, some of the scholars are actually saying this is not actually a plague. This is a waba, which is a pandemic. So every plague is a pandemic, but not every pandemic is a plague. And that's a nuance that is beyond the scope of this show. The point is it even a plague? Allahu alam. Does it take the ruling of a plague? Allahu alam. It would be a good question to ask the scholars. But the point is that because the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the one who dies from plague, he dies as a martyr. They say, the martyr, he's not washed because he's buried like that. Does that make sense? Without being washed. But the issue is now that this is a big mistake, because the martyrs are of two types. There's the martyr who died in the battlefield, and then there's the martyr who didn't die in the battlefield, but he got the reward of a martyr. He died as a shaheed. For example, a woman who died whilst giving birth, person who died because of being drowned or drowning, a person who dies because of plague, so on and so forth. They are martyrs, inshallah ta'ala. They get the reward of martyrs, but they are not like the martyr in the battlefield. Does that make sense? And
in terms of this specific ruling.
Yeah, so the ones who the Prophet ﷺ would and this is in the books of fiqh. In fact, in the first level of fiqh in Kitab al-Janaiz, I don't know about other madhahib, but in the Shafi'i madhab we learn it, right? Like I said, Matlan Shujaa, all that, you will go through it there, inshallah. So the point is that a person, his body is only not washed if he died in the battlefield. If he did die in the battlefield, then if he didn't die in the battlefield, his body's washed. Does that make sense? And they can't say, oh, there's risk and danger of infection. I mean, like, doctors, they go despite the risk of infection and they treat the person, right? Mm-hmm. When he's alive and when the disease is most active. Allahu Alam, I don't know how it works medically, but I'm assuming it's more active when the guy's actually alive, right? So either way, I'm saying they go and they risk themselves with a fully live, active virus inside of a person. Does that make sense? Because in the grand scheme of things, they're necessary for that person at that point in his life. Well, now, the people who are performing the ghusl on the guy are also necessary for him. So can they not wear a protective gear and do the ghusl? Does that make sense? Like, are the disbelieving doctors more brave than us? Are they more? Are they more? What's the word? Are they more like caring? Selfless than us? Does that make sense? I'm saying, like, of course, there's always a risk, but I'm saying this is something that needs to be done. Do you see what I'm saying? Of course, now if people are refusing to wash the body of your deceased beloved, then Allahu Alam, this is something, I'm not giving you an answer, I'm not telling you what you should do or what you shouldn't do, I'm just bringing it up, as in this is something that we're trying to work on as Knowledge College. We're trying to get in touch with the mashayikh and get an answer and put it out there for the people. We're actually working on a PDF, right, with regards to things to do in case death comes.
And a compilation as well of like fatwa.
And a compilation of fatwa with regards to the virus and everything. So we're actually working on it. We're going to be putting it out there for the people, inshallah ta'ala, to benefit. But I'm saying these are things that have we ever considered? Like, have you ever written in a will, like, my body must be washed? Like, because there are places that are washing the body. There are places that aren't, but there are places that are washing the body. You know what I'm saying? So like now, if you die, your family members would know this was my brother, my dad, my wife, my sister, my husband, my nephew, whoever it is. This was his dying wish. It was written there clearly. Make sure my body is washed. Does that make sense? Make sure I'm buried in this way. Here's where my inheritance should go. Here are my debts. Because if you don't pay your debts off, remember the Prophet ﷺ refused to bury a man who had debts. There was a man at his time, the Prophet ﷺ refused to bury him when he had debts. Does that make sense? So then Ukasha radiallahu anhu came and said, Ya Rasulullah, don't worry, I'll pay off his debt. And then the Prophet buried him. Does that make sense? Then the Prophet buried him. They prayed his janazah and they buried him. Then the Prophet came to him and said, Ukasha, have you paid it? Have you paid it? And Ukasha, I think if I'm not mistaken, the hadith mentioned he took a little bit of time to pay off the debt. And when he paid it off, then the Prophet said, now he has just found relaxation in the grave. Now he's just become stress-free. Does that make sense? Because of the debt. So I'm saying debts are a big thing, man. So to write it down, you know what I'm saying, assets. Like I remember I was talking to Ustad Ma'awiyah Taka, and he just mentioned, it was just something funny he mentioned to me, but it's just relevant, you know what I'm saying, like to show you examples. Like he was like, talking to me about the guy who established Bitcoin. His name was Yokishi Yatamoto, or something like that. Something like that. Apparently, he had 5 million Bitcoin in his Bitcoin wallet. Does that make sense? Yeah. And now those Bitcoins are worth billions. Does that make sense? So he told me, like, he's gone now. We don't know where he is. Is he lost? Is he dead? There's assumption that he's dead. Like, he's gone now. Does that make sense? So I was like, so where are those Bitcoins? Like, who inherits it? Does that make sense? And he was like, no one does. Like, that's it. Like, he goes, Bitcoin is like buried treasure. Like, if a person was to have buried treasure and just bury it in the ground somewhere, and you didn't tell anyone and give them a treasure map, that's it. That's gone. That's in the world now. You're not going to see that again. Does that make sense? He said, in fact, it's easier to dig up buried treasure than it is to find Bitcoin. Does that make sense? So he was like, the guy didn't leave a will behind. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so that just made it was something separate, but it's just something reminding me that, like, wow, like, you actually have to tell people, I've got these assets here, I've got this here, I've got property here, you know, I've got a company here, I own this much of a share in it, I've got this, 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 I've got this. These are my debts. Does that make sense? These are my final advices. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, imagine, like, who writes an advice to their family? Fear Allah. Make sure that you worship Him and no one but Him, and don't die except in a state of Islam and submission to Him. And advices, like, you know what? Advices, like, final advices, like, I'll be honest, it's something that's been on my mind for the last 3-4 days. What a bucker, man. It's been on my mind.
What to do it?
Yeah, to write out my final advices and everything, and I've just been trying to gather my thoughts, man. What would I say? What would be my final advices to my friends, to my family? What would be my final advices? First thing I would say is advice of Allah. I would advise them as the way Allah advises us, which is to have taqwa of Allah, to fear Allah. To advise them to worship Allah alone and to not die upon shirk. Yeah, that's how it would start, but it's mad. Like, you don't think about it, do you?
No, like I said, no. Until someone actually says it to you, or you actually deep it. Like, it's just nuts,
it's mad. It's mad.
Yeah.
I saw a video, man, my brother sent. I don't know if we can play it maybe in the video now.
لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون إن لله وإنا إليه راجعون إن لله وإنا إليه راجعون إن لله وإنا إليه راجعون اللهم ارحمهم اللهم توفاهم اللهم تغمدهم. هاي شاب صغير يا شباب. لا إله إلا الله 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 لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. يعني شباب المنظر، يعني أنا أتمنى إنكم يعني تكونوا عارفين شو بيصير. الوضع سيء جدا واحنا شهادة عيان الآن.
نحن في خطر الآن، نحن في مصيبة الآن يعني.
لا إله إلا الله. Brother, listen, I'm gonna take some gloves for Ahmed too. Thank you. Okay. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. شباب الموضع يعني المنظر تقشعر له الأبدان.
يعني حتى الوسع ما عندنا واسع. ما عندنا no space, no more space. حتى الصناديق خلصت. الصناديق تبع الدفن خلصت. يعني أنا طلبت 20 أول أمس ولحد الآن بس عندي 2 تبع الشحن بس، مش تبع اللوكال باريو.
لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. الله يحماك يا كبير، الله يحماك يا صديقي. لا حول ولا
دعواتكم.
شباب الوضع يعني للأسف المناظر إنها ترتجف لها القلوب.
نعم والله.
ترتجف لها القلوب.
وضع حزين جدا.
للأسف الوضع حزين جدا. 90% من الحالات الموجودة الآن هي كوفيد-19. الله يرحمنا برحمته ويجعل مثوانا الجنة آمين.
But basically there's a funeral home in New York. Did I send it to you?
No.
There's a funeral home in New York, actually, just dead bodies lying everywhere. It's a massive funeral home. Dead bodies on the floor. Dead bodies everywhere in the hall, like everywhere. There's a child there as well.
I saw one, I think, in Spain in a hospital, similar. It was just dead bodies everywhere, all over the floor.
Bro, Ustad Abdul Qadir Bakhsh was telling me. We saw the video on it, like of the brother from the funeral home, saying that the hospital have run out of body bags, because Insha Abdul Qadir put out the video saying it's so bad that people have run out of body bags. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? The hospitals run out of body bags. And then I know there was some guy that released a
What
video
happened with
saying,
that? There's a bit of controversy. Yeah, there's a bit of controversy that it was fake news. Or
no, it wasn't fake
what
news at
was-
all. Shall I tell you how it's not fake news? There's a few reasons why it's not fake news. Number one, yeah, the only thing that was a mistake was when the Sheikh mentioned
Cremation.
cremation, because it wasn't his fault though. The brother from the funeral home was told that by the woman at the hospital. She made a mistake.
Okay.
And
She
he
made a
went
mistake.
back and made a video with the brother from the funeral home, and he was a trustworthy brother, and he said, it's true, this is what she said to me. So it's true, they have run out of body bags. And one of the reasons, I mean, he done his own research, and the brother from the funeral home done his own research. But the reason I know is because I started calling up body bag suppliers that day to kind of see if I could find something. Does that make sense? And if we could raise the money and purchase it. And the leading body bag supplier in the UK, I don't know if you type in Google, it will actually say on there, I forgot the name, but it will say leading body bag supplier in the UK. Anyone can call them as well and check. The guy said to me, we're out. We're stressed. He said to me, we don't have anything till May. We do not have any body bags till May. Does that make sense?
SubhanAllah.
So, not just that, remember we had the brother from the other funeral home, he made a video and he said, look, people tried to attack Sheikh Abdul Qadir. I don't know him. He didn't know him at all. But he's like, here's a body right now that's given to me, and you can see no body bag. Does that make sense? And then Sheikh Abdul Qadir outsourced some substitute body bags and gave it to funeral homes, gave it to hospitals, and they've been working. Actually, people run out of body bags, bro. That's how peak it is. You know, they've set up that extra thing in the Exo Center, the Nightingale thing, where
Yeah.
they've got a 1 kilometer hall, and that's one. And there's another one as well. It's 1 kilometer long. They set it up to be a ward for the COVID-19 patients, and in a section they got a whole section for mortuaries. Does that make sense? So one of the brothers who's involved there, I think he's a doctor, he contacted Sheikh Abdul Qadir from Crisis Aid. He said, if you get the body bags, we need to buy them straight away. We'll buy all of them. He said, what do you mean? Like, you're a Nightingale, you've got a whole mortuary, you guys don't have body bags?
You got army support, everything.
Yeah, he said, we do, but you know what it is? Those body bags are stored for May, because that's when we're expecting people to drop dead. We're expecting people to die like crazy. I think it's in May or April, something like that. He said they're held there for that. But right now, the rate that people are dying, man, we don't have enough body bags. We need them. Like, imagine that, bro. I think there's people. Remember the brother our brother whose grandmother passed away. She's on a waiting list to be buried because there's no space.
Oh, alhamdulillah, they buried her.
They buried her, alhamdulillah, right? But look,
they managed
but
to find
still,
her.
like,
But
imagine-
at the beginning, they were delaying it because they couldn't find her.
yeah, imagine having to go on a waiting list to get buried because there is no space in the graveyard right now. They have to dig it up. So, actually, this is getting very bad, bro. It's getting very bad. You know what I'm saying? And if this is not a sign to wake up, to repent to Allah Azza wa Jal and turn back to Him, I don't know what is, man. I really don't know what is. This is like, are our hearts that hard? Wallahi, they are hard, man. They are hard, bro. They are hard. We're still sinning. We're sinning inside of our homes. We're sinning in terms of things that we watch online. We're still... Imagine a person's home, no work, and they're still not praying 5 times a day. Like, first it was, oh, work, this, that. You're at home and you're still not praying 5 times a day, man. I don't get it. You're not hanging out on the blocks, but you're still doing madness in the house. Watching videos, watching porn, watching this, watching that. You're at home now, you're being disrespectful to your mum. You're at home now, being disrespectful to your dad. Husbands are oppressing wives, wives are oppressing husbands. Wallahi, akhi, Wallahi, akhi, man. Allah musta'an. I don't know what to say, man.
Just brings to mind another statement where the story of Uthman radiallahu anhu, when he would cry so much when he came across graves, but when he was, when the day judgment was mentioned, or heaven and hell, and that, he wouldn't cry as much. And he was asked, why is that the case? And he said, because this is where it begins, basically. Like, if your state in your grave is good, then everything else from there onwards will be good. If your state in your grave will be bad, everything else from there will be bad. And subhanAllah, and that's true. And now we're getting so many reminders of graves and graveyards, but still, we're still heedless, still, until it comes to us, really and truly, till the angel of death comes to us. That's the only time, really and truly, where we're actually gonna deep death. And by then it's gonna be too late. That's the reality. That's the way, I see it Because that's just the way humans are. We just don't want to, even if people around us are dying, it's true. We might think of it for us like, you know, a few days or you know, a few moments. But bro, you get sucked back into the dunya. The only time it's actually gonna fully hit you is when it's too late. And that's scary, man. That is a scary thought. That is a scary thought, man. And then you're gonna be asked like, that is scary, man.
Allah understand.
Hey, listen.
Understand.
I've got a little exercise. Do you wanna do a little activity with me? I just
Go on.
thought of it now.
Go on.
Okay, calm. Okay, I think this is actually gonna be really good. Okay, this is gonna be really good. Okay, calm. Okay, calm. If you're watching this at home, whether it's on YouTube or someone's cut this up and made a video out of it or whatever, just go along with this as well, yeah? So Imran,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you 3 questions,
Uh-huh.
and I want you to answer those questions, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. And I want everyone else at home, I'm gonna ask these questions, answer these as well.
In the
Number
comments.
one, not just while you're talking, just while you're listening to me, answer it verbally while you're watching this video. And
Okay.
everyone, you do the same. Okay, number 1,
Uh-huh.
who is your Lord?
Allah.
And what is your religion?
Al-Islam.
And who was the prophet that was sent to you?
Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions, and you have to answer them, but you can't open your lips. You have to keep your lips sealed. Your lips have to be touching each other, and you have to answer though, okay? So who is your Lord?
As in, you want me to speak while my lips are closed, but I can move my teeth?
Your lips have to be closed. So answer the question with your lips sealed. So who is your Lord?
Mm.
Who is your Lord?
Mm.
Imran, who is your Lord? Who is your Lord?
Mm.
Bro, it's a simple question. Who is your Lord? Imagine in your grave. It's easy to say it right now, but imagine in your grave your lips are sealed and you can't open your mouth and say it.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Allah al-musta'an wa ala ma tasifun. Wow, that's mad. That is mad.
It's easy to say it now, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it just came to my mind now. Like, imagine trying to say that with your lips shut, and this is with lips. Imagine if your heart's sealed.
Right, Jazakallah khair for the reminder, man.
Oh, Jazakallah khair, man. It just came to my mind, but I hope everyone at home as well benefit from that, man. I think it'd be good someone just cut that up and just sent that around. I think that'll be, really, really beneficial for a lot of people. Yeah, man, I think. Say that again?
If I could just say a final thing based on that to the brothers and sisters.
Go on.
Allah said, what's the ayah? Allah said, we decreed death for everyone, and we're yet to be challenged. Meaning there is no one that challenged Allah and outlived death. Does that make sense? And the Salaf used to say that death is like a sword hanging over your head. And it's just when Allah tells the angel of death, the sword will drop and your time will come, but literally it's hanging over all of our heads. And Hassan al-Basri used to say that nothing has deceived the youth of today except that they think that they will live to see tomorrow. No one promised you tomorrow. Come back to Allah today. And that's why Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma used to say, إذا أصبحت فلا تنتظر إذا أمسيت فلا تنتظر الصباح. If you reach the evening, don't expect to wake up in the morning. وإذا أصبحت, and if you wake up in the morning, فلا تنتظر المساء, don't expect to reach the night. And that's how we should live our life. That's how we should live our life, man. I think if this is not going to make us turn back this whole Covid-19 thing, I don't know. Like you said, the lips being sealed one, but the heart, that is mad. That is very mad. Barakallah fiik.
I think we'll end it there, inshallah. Let us know in the comments what topic you want us to do on the next episode, inshallah. And And yeah, thanks for watching, inshallah. See you on the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Finally, Taha, we're going to be able to produce videos so fast on this new powerful Mac, inshallah ta'ala.
Bro, get off the Mac.
Oh, my bad, bro.
You're bad for real.
Yeah, I didn't see you there, man.
What do you mean you didn't see me? I'm right here.
No, obviously, how am I supposed to see you, bro? At the time we're recording this video, you've not been edited in yet.
Say wallahi.
Yeah, you've been edited.
No way.
Yeah, post-production, my G.
That's mad.
Whole type K visuals, obviously, as you can see.
Mashallah.
More money came in, we're able to hire a better visual team. That's why we can do stuff like this. But anyway, bro, listen, I need to talk to the people, okay?
Bro, do your thing. I'm just going to sit here and listen,
back in the
inshallah.
first place.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. As you guys saw, literally about just over 24 hours ago, we put out a video saying we needed to raise money for new media equipment so we could spread La ilaha illallah across the World Wide Web. And alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, you guys, almost with Allah's permission, have managed to reach the target, which means we're going to be closing that fundraiser very shortly because we're just a few thousand away from our ultimate goal. Now here's the thing, do you know what that means for you? That means you miss out on an opportunity to get mad reward, because as I showed you in the last video, from that one camera we managed to reach 20 million people. That means there's a potential of 20 million rewards just of YouTube. Imagine all the multiple different cameras, the different computers and the thing that we purchase from these donations, and then all the data that we spread across the internet, the kind of reward you'll get. You see, now when that fundraiser closes, your opportunity is gone, and I'd advise you, please don't miss out on that. Like there was a companion at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet told the Sahaba that there's going to be 70,000 from his ummah that are going to go to Jannah without any accountability, which means no questioning. Day of judgment, straight to paradise. So one of the companions, his name was Ukasha. He stood up and he said, Ya Rasulullah, he said, make dua to Allah that I'm from those 70,000. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, Anta minhum. He said, you're from them. It's done. It's done. Another companion heard it and he was like, oh, you just have to do that? Just ask the Prophet. So he got up and he said, Ya Rasulullah. He said, make dua to Allah to make me from them as well. And the Prophet said to him, Sabaqaka biha Ukasha. He said, Ukasha beat me to it. That was a limited offer. You missed the window of opportunity. So what that shows you is that don't let someone beat you to the punch. Don't let someone beat you with the opportunity to get that kind of reward. I mean, think about it, man. We've got sins, but have an opportunity to buy a piece of equipment, which there's going to be multiple rewards that are going to come from it. Rewards in the hundreds and thousands, rewards in the millions potentially, inshallah ta'ala. That's not the kind of good deed that you want to pass up. So anyway, inshallah ta'ala, with that said, I'm going to leave you guys before this guy gets upset. Open the box.
Yeah, bro, we're going to unbox you soon as the video stops, man. Just be patient, bro. Hasteness from Shaitan.
Anyway, listen, bro. Before Little Me gets upset, I have to bounce. But the link is below if you don't want to donate, inshallah ta'ala, so we can spread this da'wah. Listen, inshallah, we're going to spread this da'wah everywhere, inshallah ta'ala. Everywhere that Allah allows us to do. Of course, we can't do it each and every single little place. Before we get a little refutation, oh my God, he said everywhere. Jokers. Assalamu alaikum.